Hey everyone. So I've been thinking a lot lately about shop organization. If you've been following me on social media, you've probably seen, got a sort of a glimpse about what this video is going to be like. But I've been getting very frustrated with myself with the fact that my finishing shed, which is this building here, has sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Perpetually been looking like a bomb went off in it. Just crap all over the floor and tools everywhere, and it's sort of, I was putting my, straining the extents of my eidetic memory of being like, oh, I need this particular tool. Oh, that's right, it's over here underneath this tool. And now it was slowing me down and it was frustrating me. And being slow when you are doing this for your full-time job is dangerous, because slow means less money, less income, less productivity. And frustration is bad because it makes you want to give up on projects, because you're getting frustrated anyway because you're dealing with complex techniques and maneuvers and things like that to achieve the things that you are building. So adding frustration on top of that just makes it a nightmare to try and stay motivated through all of that. So I've wanted to change that, and it was my birthday recently, and so I thought I'd take a day off. Figured of all the days of the year that I can take a day off, it's my birthday. So I took the day off, and my gift to myself was to organize my shop. And I built a couple of things to actually make that happen better for me. And so far, a week later, it has changed my world. So I wanted to share it with you guys, so hopefully it might inspire you to do the same in your own shops. So first of all, let's go over to the Forge, and I'll show you what I mean when I talk about efficiency footprints, which is going to be a common theme throughout this video. Let's go have a look. So here's what I'm talking about. When I walk into my Forge, I have a distinct path that I follow every time. I walk through here. I usually have this set up here. I put down my little caddy that carries all my stuff from inside there. And once I've got that there, I then move, get charcoal, load it into the Forge, and start cranking. Light it up. And that way, from here, I can be working at my anvil and take one step to the Forge, one step back. If I need to go from here to a rounding horn, I can go here. If I need to go from my Forge to my swage block, I can do it here. Make tanks down in the bottom. Everything is one step away. Sometimes a bigger step, like changing out tools, but generally speaking, you don't change out tools on the fly. I have most commonly used tools actually on my anvil stand, and that way I can just swap out as I need them. Order of operations, the 5 Ps, and all that good stuff. So if I know that I'm going to be doing a twist on my next heat, I will have this up here. I usually have scrolling tongs there, and that way everything's just ready. I can just chuck up the work, do the twist, be done with it. The brush will be out ready to get the scale off the twist. That's all there. So that organization is important, and basically you can narrow it down to a footprint. I'm very rarely going straight from here to my swaging stand, although if I need to, I can just turn and take one step, and it's here. I can turn from my Forge. All of the places that I'll be moving from between have a nice clear line. There's nothing that I've put here, because that would mean I would have to go around it all the time. And that's why my forging setup is a circle. And I'm setting up a new one over here for students, and it's going to be the same thing. This won't be here, but anvil stand, forge. So they can go from here, one step, and do the forging. It just makes sense, but it means clean and efficient work. So let's go over to my finishing workshop, and I'll show you what I've done here. So as I come into the door, I have a nice clear thoroughfare. Frankie is on my right, and I have a nice little station here where I can move around Frankie. This is portable, it's just my vacuum. I can move around Frankie to get full access to every part of him that I need. Drill press, nice and clear. Miter stand, nice and clear. I'm never cutting hugely long things, but if I am, they can go under the drill press and hang out over this edge here. It's a bit of a mess because it's just been recently used to build something that we're going to go on to next. I have commonly used tools for this station under here, drill bits, etc., hole saws. Bit of storage here. My welding and plasma cutting setup is all in one movable trolley that I can actually drag out and around. Stick welder, all of my brazing tools are there, magnets, plasma cutter down the bottom, spare plasma tips, etc. Everything that I need for welding or plasma cutting is in the one place. My bandsaw is here. This is a new toy for my birthday, which is really cool. I've been really enjoying having that metal cutting bandsaw. Got the wood cutting bandsaw, granite surfacing plate, battery station, scroll saw, and a bit of a workbench in between, which is currently a mess. But the whole point of this is that this place looked like a bomb went off in it until recently, and I'm trying to actually fix that, and that's the purpose of this video. Tools that I don't usually use, that aren't in regular use, are in there, or over there. My red ones are all my automotive tools. I don't use them day to day. That's for fixing cars. And over here is sort of like materials storage and things, all sandpapers, abrasives, different types of wood for handle materials, etc. Down the bottom I keep non-ferrous metals, oils and things are over here. My caddy that I was talking about in the forge, I usually stick here, and all my regularly used aerosols are there. Sawhorses are brought down when they are needed to be brought down. Table saw is tucked in a corner. Table saw is an incredibly useful tool to have, but I use it maybe 4 or 5 times a year, so it sits in the corner and I don't usually need it, so I pull it out when I do. I've got a mobile work stand for if I need to do detailed carpentry work. Trash can, which is going to be sorting out this mess. This is the workshop equivalent of somebody cleaning their room and shoving everything in the wardrobe. That's all going to be fixed. My lesser used power tools are across here, sort of hand tools. Air compressor is tucked away, ready to be used. It can stay there and I can pull the hose out. A nice long hose has helped that. But the main feature of this video is this new tool island. Now, if you listen to the ForgeCast, I was talking about this. This was inspired by Nighthawk in Light on YouTube, who was also inspired to build it from Adam Savage, who you all know who Adam Savage is. Both of theirs is actually mobile. It's on casters. Mine doesn't need to be because I have a very small footprint in this workshop. So I liked Nighthawk in Light's version better because he introduced the concept of a small work table on top. So this allows me to do some sort of fit up work and things like that. I got some nice wood for that. The rest of it's all made of pallet wood, so it was almost free to build, but I got some nice oak for the surface. So a nice flexible repositionable light, and this is my detail work stand. So all of my needle files, larger files, PPE, always good, marking tools, pens, etc. Soft jaws, this is pine, but they can be ready to go into here for soft jaw work. All of my different burrs, carbide burrs, drum burrs, wood carving burrs, my rotary tool, which actually can be used up here. And it's all battery operated, you'll notice. Even the light is actually running off a battery bank. That is so that I don't have cords going across the floor. Now, I know that's sometimes inevitable, like with the bandsaw, that's inevitable, but I am actually getting some rubber, you know, those sort of things that hide cable runs that'll go under, across the floor here, but have a very low footprint and keep the cable from being tripped over. At the moment I've got all the power coming in there, so I've got extension cords running all through. And I'm sick of actually tripping over cables. So there's going to be a floor runner there. I could do that with this tool island, but for the moment, USB battery banks work a treat. I have a better light than this coming. You really want to get, when it comes to light, you want to get the best you can get. This is not that. But it's doing me until I'm actually sorted out. So this end here is where most of the work gets done. This is actually a working station, so like I said, it's for detail work. I've got my rotary tool with the burrs, nice creative man file guide. I'll be doing a video on these soon because these are phenomenal. Thank you, Stefan, my patron, for sending me that. That was my birthday present from him, which was nice. And having a little soft bristle brush to be able to clean this off, because carbide burrs create a lot of mess. So that's all accessible from this end. It's a standing work area. I'm going to be making myself a tall stool. This one's not tall enough. It's just a little thing that I've got for when I'm working at my surfacing plate. So a tall stool for working here will be an addition to the forge, to the workshop. So common hand tools are all down here. Probably get more light on them there. Common hand tools, various pliers, cutters, etc., scribes, picks, which are very handy tools to actually have. Should probably talk about them in the ForgeCast one time. My most commonly used battery-powered tools and my grinder setup, because my angle grinder comes out. When you work with metal, angle grinders come out almost on the daily. So cutting disc, grinding disc, flap discs, wire wheels, and a spanner, because I'm forever losing angle grinder spanners. It's like a constant torment of mine. And over this side I've got all my various tapes, because you use them for all. I'm a bit of a handyman, so I do a lot of work with various things. Blue painter's tape, absolute must for any knife maker. Various forms of thread, levels, straight edges. I've got right angle gauges, saws, staple gun, angle finders, all the most common things that I use. Stanley knife over here. And because they're out, I don't forget that they're there. I can just reach out and grab them and put them back. And that's the muscle memory thing I've got to try and develop, putting them back. Because what happened was, I used to keep everything stored in here, and everything would have a place, and I'd pull it out of there, use it, and then stick it down a flat surface, forget it was there, and then everything would just end up everywhere. With this, if I need a screwdriver, I can grab that, do the thing, and because it's out in the open, I can just do that, chuck it in there, and it's done, sorted, fixed. Another thing that always tended to go missing was clamps. So I actually have a clamp station at the back here with all of my clamps in some semblance of order, and that allows me to be able to very quickly and easily just grab one that I need, use it for the job, and when I'm done, pop it back. It's good to go. And so this has actually been part of the same sort of philosophical experiment of finding a floor plan, a footprint of your workshop, because I always come in here and the first thing I do is walk over here and I put my caddy down here, and then I get to work. When I am working at the wood bandsaw, I usually go from here to my small belt sander, or linisher. This is just a standard thing. Or I go to here, Kiradashi I'm working on, I will use this for flattening off, disc sander, platen sander, very, very commonly used things. The belts for my linisher are here, they're just ready to go. My disc sander belts are actually down in here. So everything is accessible. If I'm doing, usually I'll go from drilling to neatening up the holes on the linisher. So there's nothing impeding me from going there. It's very rare that I'd go from between my drill press and my bandsaw, because it's just not the order of operations for this sort of thing. So Frankie, for example, I'll often go between Frankie, and when I'm finished, I'll go to, say, like I'll be flattening off a handle on Frankie, and then I'll go to my surfacing platen here, my flat reference stone for flattening off. And then I'll often go between there and the disc sander to try and get flatness on the sides of knife handles. So that footprint has created a commonly used path from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, and nothing is impeding it. The flow is there and the tools are accessible. Everything's got its spot on the different flat surfaces, and this tool island has been instrumental in making that happen, because all of my most commonly used things day to day are there within reach, easily to grab and easy to put back. I can grab my angle grinder, and while I'm still standing here, grab a battery for it, put it in, go to work. When I'm done, I can take the battery out, put it back, and then put the angle grinder back. And it does not take very long to make that all happen. And that way, whenever I need the angle grinder, I know exactly where it is. I don't have to go looking for it. So what that sort of thing does is it makes your flow better, because every minute you save having to look for something is a minute that you could be spend working on something and get work done faster, be less frustrated. The amount of times I wanted to just throw something because I can't find what I want. Knowing that you have a tool and not being able to find it, especially in such a small workshop, is a very frustrating thing to have happen. So hopefully that has inspired you to do a bit of spring cleaning on your workshop. And something like this, I built it in a day, and it was a short day too. I built it on my birthday. It was my birthday present to myself, because I knew how frustrated I constantly got in my workshop. And already, tool organization aside, already having this dedicated finishing station has proven itself to be incredibly useful. So definitely something to think about building for yourself, even if it's just this setup. To have everything there is phenomenal. So while I have you, you've probably noticed that on my surfacing plate is a little collection of goodies. This has to be featured in my this video. My boy Big Fudge sent me a birthday parcel and got here a little bit late, but not so much his fault. It's just shipping anything at the moment is terrible. But I'd been bemoaning the fact that I didn't have a nice set of 10mm V-bit bolt tongs, and he made this set just for me, and they are beautiful. I really, really like them. And he knows that I operate with my left hand, which means they sit perfectly in my hand. And yeah, they hold both 10 and 12mm round and square stock perfectly. And the bolt jaws allow me to do detailed scroll work and things with the short nibs. Very, very good. Very sort of Roy Adams style. And you guys know how much I love Roy. So they're going to come in very handy, because I've actually got a couple of jobs on that need to work with that stock, and I was dreading having to use my dodgy tongs, and I'm terrible at trying to take the time to make my own. So he also sent me some great goodies, some known 1095, some 52-100 that was actually forged out on Preston from Bearing Race. So 52-100 is a phenomenal steel, because it's a carbon steel, but it's super rust resistant. So it's great for chef knives. Because stainless steels, except for the high-end stainless steels like VG10 and that, can't really get the edge retention that carbon steels can get. 52-100 is a notable exception. It's beautiful to make rust-resistant knives out of. Some known bar stock, pristine bar stock of 15 and 20, coupled with my known pristine bar stock of 1084 from Creative Man. That's going to make some really pretty Damascus. And you will see in the near future what that Damascus is going to be for. It's for actually a very, very high-ranking celebrity in the field of knife making, which I'm super excited about. And also some 1070. This is what Sam makes his hex hawks out of. Known 1070 is really good. That is a chonky boy, and it's going to take a lot of work to forge down, but Sam likes to keep me fit. He also gave me, because he knows I love making fancy handles for my knives, I've recently been playing with some Delrin that he sent me a long time ago. A long time ago. I think it was the first care package he sent me. I finally got to use it, and I loved working with it so much he sent me a heap more, which is really nice of him. I'm not actually sure what this is. It's kind of like orange jade, but it's not stone. It's synthetic, I believe, because it's very light, and it's got that plasticky sound to it. It's cool. It might just be acrylic, but it has the appearance of jade, orange jade. There's more than just green jade. This sort of faux marble is pretty cool. It'll make for a very interesting spacer. But this is awesome. At first I thought he'd sent me a scented candle, which would be very unlike him, but this is grindable, cuttable resin. That's going to make some really impressive looking handles. And I am super excited to use that and trying to work out how best to use it to get as many projects out of it as possible. So circular profile billets of things are usually harder to work that out with than square ones. So it'll be an interesting challenge. I think it looks great. I need to get me some like green G10 to go with it or something, or maybe some of the black G10 that Stefan sent me, like, make up a multi-part handle with like stripes of this against a dark wood on the black G10, like Tasmanian blackwood or something. It'd be, oh, guys, I'm excited. Anyway, let's wrap this up. So anyway, that has hopefully opened your eyes to what is possible with shop organization. It's a super important topic, especially if you want to try and go full time, like I do, like Sam does. Organization saves you time and it saves you frustration. Those two things can make a huge difference in your work and your efficiency. So take it into account. Maybe watch this a couple of times if you are inspired by the way I've set my workshop up. You may have your own designs that work better for you, and it is a highly personal thing. It depends on how you work. Think about it kind of like if you were to view your workshop top down and do a time lapse that shows the footprints that you leave as you walk through your workshop. What sort of lines would they draw? What patterns on the floor would they draw? Look at those patterns and then arrange your workshop around those patterns, and you can all of a sudden make your workshop 10 times more efficient and less stressful to work in. So give it a thought, and hopefully you liked this video. If you did like it, please like, share and subscribe, and also be sure to check me out on the usuals, Facebook and Instagram and Etsy. I've got merchandise on Redbubble that you should definitely check out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll catch you later.